Hi, my dear friends. Some words of Torah for Parshas Ki Tetzei. Have you ever performed the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKen? That is, have you ever encountered a nest with a mother bird sitting on her eggs or her chicks, and in compliance with the commandment from our Parsha, sent away the mother bird before taking the eggs or chicks? I did this mitzvah many years ago when I was a yeshiva student in Israel. I confess that it felt strange. I shooed away the mother and could tell that she was upset to leave her nest. She sat on a perch initially several yards away, staring at me. Only after she finally flew away did I lift up the nest, thereby making a kinyan, an acquisition of the eggs. Once I fulfilled the mitzvah of taking the offspring, I was permitted to put the nest back in its place. Eventually, the mother returned to her eggs. The eggs hatched and life went on. The chicks became birds and flew the coop. Still, it left me with some discomfort. Why perform this whole exercise if you don't even want to eat the eggs? Is there even a mitzvah of Shiluach HaKen when you don't want the eggs? Rabbi Moshe Sofer, the Chassam Sofer of the 19th century, surmised that indeed, according to our Talmud, the Talmud Bavli, there is no mitzvah to send away the mother bird gratuitously if you don't want the eggs. Long before that responsum was written, the Rambam in the 12th century had argued that sending away the mother bird is like the mitzvah of shechita, of ritual slaughter. Unquestionably, shechita causes pain to an animal, but the pain is minimized through the specific method of killing the animal with a sharp knife under its neck. We similarly minimize the pain caused to a mother bird by sending her away before taking her eggs. Even though forcing her away is painful to the bird, it is far less painful to her than having to witness her eggs being taken from the nest. But if we don't wish to eat meat, there's no mitzvah to shecht an animal. Similarly, if we don't wish to eat the eggs, there's no mitzvah of causing even minimized pain to one of God's creatures by sending away the mother bird. And yet, we know that some people go to great efforts to do this mitzvah, even when they don't want to eat the eggs. Why is that? This is based on a passage from the Zohar, which states that metaphysically, the whole process of the mother bird being sent away is a reenactment of the divine presence leaving the Jewish people upon the destruction of the temple. By sending away the mother bird, which metaphorically represents God's parental presence, we remind Hashem of how he has been away from the Jewish people, like a mother bird from its chicks. This arouses divine mercy and inspires God to return to us and hasten the Messianic age. Rav Moshe Sternbuch explains that both Shechita and Shiluach HaKen contain aspects of both compassion and cruelty. On the one hand, slaughtering an animal causes one to become desensitized to an animal's life and its suffering. But on the other hand, when one notes the great effort that the halacha requires of us to spare the animal any unnecessary pain in the process of dying by using that very sharp knife and by making the incision in the part of the animal's body which will minimize the pain, the ritual slaughterer becomes sensitized to the need for minimizing pain even when slaughter is necessary for food. In kind, sending away the mother bird is an act of cruelty to the mother bird, but the very act sensitizes us to the importance of minimizing emotional pain to every mother of children, even animals. With this dichotomy of cruelty and compassion combined, we can now understand the Zohar's connection to the destruction of the temple. The traumatizing historical events of our temple destroyed, our people massacred, and our subsequent exile and centuries-long duration as diaspora Jews, all this has been a necessary evil that Hashem deems necessary for our survival and sustenance as the chosen people. As painful as it has been, Hashem has chosen those exiles and experiences which spared us any unnecessary pain and suffering. Sending away the mother bird thus reminds us that as cruel and painful as Jewish history has been, it was meted out by a loving parent who was sensitive to our pain and who has chosen those paths which minimize the necessary pain. But let's go back to that Chassam Sofer responsum. He proves that our Babylonian Talmud does not paskin like the Zohar. The Talmud does not require one to send away the mother bird when one does not want the eggs, and does not acknowledge the deeper metaphysical connection to our exile experience as the Zohar does. The Chassam Sofer concludes that whenever there is a conflict between the Talmud Bavli and the Zohar, between what we call Nigle, or the revealed Torah, versus Nistar, or the hidden or mystical aspects of Torah, we rule according to the Nigle, according to the Talmud. But perhaps the issue may become academic very soon. According to the Zohar, the only reason for doing this mitzvah nowadays, when we don't want the eggs, is to mimic divine mercy. Once the Mashiach comes and the divine presence, that mother bird, returns to our midst, we won't need to perform this mitzvah any longer. I imagine someone reading or hearing this Devar Torah may be a vegan and may be saying to themselves, I'm already sensitive to the pain of an animal. I'm so sensitive that I don't eat meat. I don't believe in killing animals for my own nutrition. R Avraham Yitzchak HaKohen Cook already saw in the early 20th century how society was evolving in this direction, and saw it as a natural progression towards the Messianic age. When Mashiach comes, all mankind will recoil from the prospect of killing any living creature for one's food. The mitzvot of ritual slaughter and sending away the mother bird, two necessary evils of cruelty, will be abolished once and for all when mankind reaches this level of perfection. And so it's no coincidence that as we progress closer and closer to Mashiach, we are witness to the gradual rebuilding of Eretz Yisrael and concomitantly the gradual movement away from killing animals for food. We have by no means arrived on either front. We can now ascend the Temple Mount, but there's no temple yet. And mankind's increasing compassion for animals has not yet reduced man's violent streak against his fellow human being. Just witness the levels of violent crime in certain urban areas and the recent violence in Afghanistan. But as we go through these early messianic birth pangs, we can certainly see a pattern unfolding which mitigates the two bases for this mitzvah, both the minimized cruelty of sending away the mother bird and the minimized cruelty of the departed divine presence. We conclude with the Rambam's words in his Moreh Nevuchim, the Guide for the Perplexed, about this mitzvah. If the law provides that such grief should not be caused to birds, how much more careful must we be that we should not cause grief to our fellow man? Just as with Shechita and Shiluach HaKen, we can't always interact with others in ways that are completely free of pain. Indeed, we regularly hurt the ones we love, but we must do our best to minimize pain, even when such confrontations and conflicts are necessary. Finally, ask yourself, if civilization is truly evolving towards a kinder, gentler, more benevolent version of mankind, have I been part of this evolution? Has my behavior gradually become more sensitive and kind as I've grown? Or do my own insecurities, frustrations, and pettiness still cause me to lash out and cause pain to others? This month of Elul is meant to be all about these kinds of introspective contemplations. If Hashem is slowly returning to us, let us return to him and to each other. So many are still feeling the pain of the past several months. Be there for them. Instead of merely minimizing pain, maximize your kindness. Be sensitive to the pain of others. Be a source of comfort and well-being for your friends and family. May we all be a part of the evolutionary process towards the Mashiach, and may we see that time come to fruition. B'mehera b'yameinu, amen. Dear friends, here's wishing you a beautiful Shabbos in this beautiful month of Elul. I hope we get to see the redemption soon. Shabbat Shalom.